guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new IDontWorkHereLady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, Lady Wants Me to Move a Random Person's Stuff Off the Beach. I work as a swim instructor on a very busy beach, and our office is based in a little surf shack on the edge of the beach. The beach is really popular, and if you don't get there before about 10 in the morning most days, you can forget about getting a decent spot for your stuff. So it was a little before 3 in the afternoon, when a random woman came up to the surf shack, and it looked like she was yelling, but I was a little down the beach, as I was wrapping up a class, so I couldn't hear her. I saw her and hurried over after all the students from the 2 o'clock class were safe on the beach. I instructed the class to start bringing their boards up to the shack so I could put them away. Me. Hi. My name is OP. I'm one of the instructors here. How can I help you? Lady, finally. I've been waiting forever. I literally saw her arrive less than 20 seconds ago. Me, customer service mode activated. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. I was wrapping up a class, and I'm the only one on duty right now. Lady, I don't need the details. Are you helping me or not? Me, do you want to sign up for surfing lessons? Lady, no. Me, do you want to rent some equipment? Lady, no. Me, so what can I do for you? Lady, help me deal with this crap. She gestures to a few towels with a windbreaker, buckets and spades, a couple of bottles of drink, a board bag, everything you would need for a family day out at the beach. I'd seen the family it belonged to earlier, briefly. Parents in their mid-30s, and a couple of kids who didn't look older than 10. Me, you want me to? Lady, help me move it. Me, where? Lady, in there points to the surf shack, where the students are currently dumping their boards. Me, I think there's been a misunderstanding here. This is a school, not a storage unit. Lady, stop asking questions and just help me move it. She turns towards the stuff, and I realize she is 1, early 20s, and not the mother nor the daughter of this family, and 2, carrying her own beach stuff. Me, do you know this family? Lady, why would I? Me, because you want me to move their stuff. Either you know them or you're moving a stranger's stuff off the beach. Lady, can you just shut up and do your job? You're getting paid to help people, not ask questions. Me, I'm getting paid to teach surfing, not move people's stuff. Lady, well, what am I meant to do? All the good spots are taken. Me, look for another spot. She stomps off after this, and I thought it was over. So I go inside to help the students with their boards. But then maybe 5 minutes later I head back towards the door, and there's a pile of beach stuff right outside the door. I look over and sure enough the lady from earlier is lying on a beach towel in the exact same spot she'd indicated, with the family's possessions bundled up and left for me to look after. I didn't really see what else I could do after that. I had to stay in the surf shack and keep an eye on the current class while waiting for the other one to arrive, as I was the only person on duty. Plus, now it was on the premises, I figured it probably came under the surf shack's rule of us taking responsibility for lost or stolen items, and I didn't want anything to get nicked. I yelled to the lady, but she was almost definitely pretending she couldn't hear me. The family came back a little while later, 10 or so minutes, asking why some random woman in their spot was saying I had their stuff, and I gave it to them and explained. They looked more confused than angry, but I saw the dad go over to the lady and they exchanged what looked like some less than friendly dialogue while the mom thanked me for at least making sure their stuff didn't get stolen, and she and the kids set off further up the beach. The next story is titled, Don't Mess with My Grandma, Karen. My grandmother has Alzheimer, so she often doesn't know where she is or who is with her. I know for a fact that she has no idea who I am. Therefore, I make an effort to call her grandma multiple times in any sitting or activity we participate in. Recently, I noticed she needed her hair and nails done as the color in both those areas was fading or chipped. So I made an appointment with a family member who owns a beauty salon and took her there. Normally, customers or those waiting for someone sit in the front area and rarely accompany a person they came with inside the actual salon floor. So, I understand why assumptions were made, but still, don't mess with my grandmother. I was on the salon floor with my grandmother, sitting in a seat in front of her, while my cousin colored her hair. I was there to make sure to keep her calm and engaged while her hair and nails were being done. She was telling me the same story she had told me 10 times in the last 10 minutes, bless her heart, when I felt someone behind me. Now, we were in the farthest corner of the room, not near a bathroom or wash station, so there was really no reason someone should be behind me. My grandmother stops talking and looks behind me. Grandma, chipper as ever, "Hi, are you another grandchild?" Karen, "No, I am not. And why are you not working? There is a line over there." Me, upon realizing she is talking to me, say over my shoulder, "I don't work here." Karen, "Now I can believe that. You are on the floor, which means you work here." She's talking to me condescendingly, and I do not take that sort of tone well. Neither does my grandmother. In a moment of clarity, I watch that bright chipper smile fall and a glimpse of my brainiac grandmother peek through. I shoot a warning glance at my cousin, who is pursing her lips to keep from laughing prematurely. Grandma, "Well, by your own logic, my dear, you must be a worker. Go to me a new Coke, would you? That's a good honey bunch." Karen starts sputtering and my grandma laughs. The chipper look returns to her face and she says, "Hi, are you one of my grandchildren?" As Karen stomps off in her loud high heels, my grandma turns and says, loudly, "I guess not. My grandchildren are not idiots." Oh my jerd, I love my grandma. I don't know where Karen went. I wasn't really paying attention after that. The next story is titled, Karen Yells at Me, so I got some revenge. I was walking to insert ambiguous 5-pointed shape here. Mark it because I was going to get stuff for cake, and I put in my earbuds, both ears, and I got to the baking section, and knocked over 5 things of packaged cake mix while reaching for the frosting because I have terrible coordination. I was picking them up, and I guess I didn't hear this lady behind me because earbuds, and she freaking pulled me up. She started yelling at me. It went sort of like this. Entitled person, don't ignore me when I'm speaking to you. If you've looked at my past posts, you might think, but you're 14, you don't look like an employee. First off, I'm tall, like 6 FT. And second off, I have long hair. Like, imagine Mirage from Apex Legends, like that front bit of his hair, but all over my head, and enough of it was covering my face so you couldn't see it too well. So tall, you can't really see my face. You might think I'm older than 14. She was saying things like, if I'm asking for help, you help me. I guess she heard my music because she kinda went off. I was holding the earbud that I took out kind of close to her. I was listening to People Equals Crap by Slipknot. Are you listening to devil music on your job? If you know the history of Iowa, the album, based around when it came out, you know that it's just adding salt to the wound. Manager. Yes, she yelled that. I remembered something I saw on Reddit. If I remembered the username, I would give credit, but I don't. Then the manager came over and asked what was wrong, so I said, "Me. I'm sorry, sir. My mom has early onset dementia and Alzheimer's. I have to take care of her. It won't happen again." Wait, no, I mean. Come on, Mom. We need to get your meds. To manager. Sorry for the disturbance. She's having a hard time. Manager. No, it's fine. Have a nice day. To Karen. You too, miss. The manager walks away. Karen opens her mouth to speak. Me. Sorry, Granny. Have a nice day. She hups and walks out. I get my cake stuff, pay and leave. I felt satisfied. Like when you get to throw a knife at General Shepard's face in MW2. If you read this far, genuinely have a nice day. See you. The next story is titled, I Laughed in a Woman's Face. I was in Sephora on Thursday afternoon, looking for presents for my sisters. I had my wallet, phone, and items in my hands, and I was wearing earbuds. I cut a lady off when turning out of an aisle, so I apologized and smiled before starting to walk away. A few seconds later, she's right next to me and staring straight at me, so I took out an earbud and said, "Excuse me." She asks if I work there and I say, "No, sorry." I start to put my earbud back in. I take my podcast very seriously. When she looks me dead in the eye and says, "Well, fine then, idiot." Before I knew what was happening, I let out a snort of laughter. It started in my nasal passage and ended in the back of my throat. She was shocked. I was shocked. It was loud and unexpected. Fortunately, if you've ever been in a Sephora, you know the employees are on you like a bloodhound. I just kept laughing as an employee escorted her away. I don't know if it was the week I'd had, the stress of the upcoming holidays, or me being desensitized due to lurking on this sub, but that laugh was one of the most therapeutic things to happen to me in a while. Bless you, Sephora Karen. The next story is titled Me. I don't work here. Tour manager. Yes, you do. You're now backstage security for Yellow Card. About 6 years ago on a Saturday night, I was setting up a concert with some friends. Now, this venue had two parts. The main part was a restaurant/bar with a big outdoor venue that could fit about 1,500 people, and across the street was the second venue that could fit about 1,000. I got confused as to which venue I was heading to, accidentally parked at the main venue, saw my mistake, and walked across the street to the intended venue. Now, I had worked late that day and couldn't go home and change, so I was wearing a black polo shirt and black pants. After my concert ends, I walk back across the street to the main venue where I had parked. I try to take a shortcut around the building, only to find myself blocked by temp fences and barricades. I look to my left and see a couple of tour buses, eye towards those, and manage to walk in between them. I find myself in a loading/staging area with some hospitality tents and people walking around, while I'm hearing a band playing really close by. I grab a snack and a drink and ask a guy how to leave, and he points to the right. The only way to the right is this long ramp that leads around the building. So I walk up and follow it around the building, literally to the side of the stage where the band Yellow Card was playing live. I'm talking 10 feet away from me tops. As I walk up, somewhat confused as to the scene in front of me, this woman with a clipboard and a headset walks up and asks me where my lanyard was. I kinda shrug and say I don't have one. She gets pissed off and says don't move. She's back in 5 seconds with a lanyard with an all-access pass and tells me to put it on. I try telling her I don't think I'm supposed to be here, but she snaps and tells me to shut it. She says to stay right there to guard the ramp to make sure no one accidentally tries to come that way, literally what I had just done, and walks away. So I spend the next 30 minutes on the side of their stage while they finish their set. After their encore, I head back to the hospitality area, grab some food, have a few drinks, mingle with some folks, etc. After a while, I see headset lady walking around, so I walk up to her, hand her the lanyard, thank her for the drinks and the show, and leave. The next story is titled, Pulling Your Phone Out When You're Working is Against Company Policy. Lady on 14. A bit of context. This was back in January of this year. I had just turned 14. The funny thing is my birthday is on January 1st. The amount of people with my birthday. You could probably count them on your hands. I think at this point, I was 5'11" with a visible beard. I had people mistake me most of the time for a 16 or 17-year-old. Now, my birthday had just passed. My parents are not the best with presents, so they just gave me money. So I went on the weekend to chill with my friend. It was like 12 p.m., we went out to eat, and my friend started talking about how he wished he could get a PC. Now, me and him are close. I go to his house most days of the week, 3 to 4 times. Sometimes I stay over, we're basically brothers. I call his parents auntie and uncle. Same with him. He comes to my house, stays. We even have rooms in each other's houses. Now, he was born 4 days after me. I really wanted to get him something really nice. So he said, let's go chill at my house. So I call an Uber, not to his house. It was to PC World. We get halfway there and he clocks what is happening. He says this isn't the way to my house. I assure him that we are going to do something very fun. Then he sees PC World and he asks why are we here. I tell him it's an early birthday present. I had to give it to him early as I couldn't go on a school day. So I tell him get anything you want. He goes mad, he tries to reject, but we all know how that turns out. So we are both in the shop and I recommend him something and tell him where it is. He goes to get it. I hear a lady clearing her throat. I turn around and she asks me where something is. I say I don't know. I then turn around assuming that was the end of that. She then starts ranting about how I need to follow company policy and not pull out my phone when talking to customers. The next thing she did shocked me. She lunged and grabbed my arm. Now the human reaction is to push her off. Now I'm 5'11", and she was around 5'5" at most, and she went flying into the PC. There was a loud alarm that went off. One monitor fell on the floor and it smashed. Security came running to the scene. So did my friend. Now my friend is a little bit scared of confrontation, so he didn't do anything. I think he was more scared than me. She was screaming about how I assaulted her and that I pulled my phone out. She said I worked there. However, the manager shut her down instantly. It was very funny. I think the police got called in the mayhem. They then took both of our stories and started giving me dirty looks. They told me to call my parents, but I refused as I didn't want to drag them into it. But eventually the footage came and it was proven that she grabbed me first and I pushed her off. Eventually I had to give my name, but I was free to leave. The police did contact my parents. The good thing was the manager gave us a 20% discount, so that was good. The next story is titled, Lady Lost Her Mind, 'Cause I Wouldn't Clean Her Mat Part 2. I just got home from the gym, and though y'all would appreciate an update, 'cause holy duck balls. So me and my mom go to the gym. The moment we step in, I noticed something was off. For when the owner was there at the desk talking with Mike. When Mike saw us, he waved us over. Owner, Mrs. and Miss redacted right. We nod. Oh, I heard from Pete, front desk kid, and Mike you had an encounter with another customer last week. Again, we nod. He sighs and grabs a paper. I'm sorry that happened, but here is the issue. We don't have pictures with our IDs, so we don't know for sure who was the woman. This is a list of people who swiped in around the time Peter saw her come in. Can you tell me if you recognize her name? I take the paper but shake my head. Me. I'm sorry, but we didn't exchange names. The owner nodded. Oh, well, here is what we are going to do. Pete isn't here today, so I'm going to sit in on her class. If she comes in, Mike will point her out and I'll talk to her. I promise she will not interact with either of you. Mom, good, I don't want her near Nancy. We all nod in agreement and head upstairs where the class was. For the first 15 minutes, everything is going well. All you could think about was the burning in my legs. Then she walks in. Same as before, she looks around the room. We lock eyes for a second and I see her scowl before she grabs a mat. Mike sees her and nods to the owner. He begins to walk over to her, but she has already got a mat and is pushing people's stuff aside. She is close to me, but she isn't pushing my stuff. My mom is playing guard dog and moved her stuff a bit forward so she couldn't look at me. He taps her shoulder and looks like he asked her to walk out with him. She turns and looks towards us, probably to glare. But like I said, there is a mother of a wall between me and her. See what I did there? The lady then marches out. I'm gonna be honest, there was a window I could see them talking through, so my workout went at the window. At first the conversation seemed relaxed, very quickly. There was yelling and pointing at me exact. Mike turned up the music to no distract everyone else, but the die had been cast. She is screaming now and I can't hear, everything but unfair and idiot. The owner seems calm, but it's clear he is over it. This continues for a bit and then Mike steps out. At this point, the whole class is watching this. Mike, she trying to calm her down, and then she is just yelling at both of them. After a few minutes, she calms down. Mike relaxes and she points inside again. Mike goes to the door, but she marches past him and back in to grab her water bottle. She leaves the mat, surprise. She picks it up and turns to leave, then stops and marches straight up to me. Before she can get to close, my mom steps between us. I love my mom, but she is 5'2" and almost 60. This lady looked older, but neither woman should be squaring off. This lady is looking at my mother, and then she looks at me. Mike and the owner have now run into the room. Oh, ma'am, it's time to leave. Oh, why not her? Why just me? Oh, she isn't screaming, ma'am. Oh, but it's her fault. She could have said she didn't work here. So just a quick thing, I have anxiety, and I was freaking out at this point. I could feel the panic attack coming. Mom, walk away. Now. She hasn't moved, except to get in the way. Both Mike and the owner are trying really hard not to touch her, but Mike steps in front of my mom and begin herding her out the door. That's when we hear it, the sound of a slap. She has slapped Mike. Everyone is quiet. The owner regains his composure, and then it goes down. All right, I'm calling the cops. We have her information and you assaulted my employee. You can leave or wait for the cops, but you will not be coming back here again. She is clearly panicked from what I can see. Mom has not moved. I'm calling my lawyer. ANS begins rattling off. Mike looks around. All right, guys, sorry to cut things short, but class is over. Please clear the area, I'll take care of the gear. My mom herds me away, and the lady and I lock eyes. Why isn't she leaving? And then me and my mom book it. We go downstairs and my mom leaves her number in case the owner needs it. All the other members are gossiping about it as we leave. In the car, when things calmed down, my panic attack took a bad turn and I have been hanging out at my parents' house till I can go home. Logically, I know it's over, but I still hope I won't see that lady again. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.